Hi, this is Joe McNally for AdoramaTV, and today we're going to deconstruct principles of color and light on location.
AdoramaTV presents Photo on the Go with Joe McNally, where you'll go behind the scenes to see how great photos are made.
Hi, this is Joe McNally for AdoramaTV. A reason I go to Adorama? It's a real store with real people, and I've got friends and associates there who have guided me through all my camera purchases for years. I brought some lighting into a bar. Where else would you go with lighting? I love a bar. You know, that's not necessarily a comment on my personal life, but I love the atmosphere. I love oftentimes the lighting and the fact that it's a place of, you know, convivial get-togethers and relaxation. And the way you have to light a bar is in accordance with that feel. You want to make it a place that people want to go to. And oftentimes the inspiration you take for your own lighting, whatever that may be, comes from the lighting that already exists. So the very first thing in a situation like this, the most important thing actually that you can do before you actually click the shutter is scout. Find an angle for the camera and find something that works, something that shows the environment but also is convenient for the placement of a subject, your camera, and all that sort of, you know, additional lighting, angles, all that kind of thing has to play into your head before you spike the camera and say, okay, this is where we're going to be. Pursuant to scouting, of course, comes my natural inclination to be lazy. Here's the thing, I look for things that are already lit. I'm trying to not overwork the situation if I possibly can avoid that, or work so hard, you know, that I drive everybody on the set completely nuts. So I oftentimes look at backlit situations. In a bar like this, I looked around and I had natural light pouring through doors and windows at the far end of the bar. So I walked down the long curve of the bar, which made for, you know, pretty strong, good graphic element in the photograph, went to the far end, turned around, pointed my camera back towards those windows, and bing, I had the back of the room already lit via what is, you know, generally known in photo slang as shutter drag. In other words, I can put the camera on the tripod, sight the whole place, and then just work my way through shutter speeds and f-stops to get the proper level of ambient light bleeding through the windows and the door and highlighting the back end of the bar. Okay, so let's take a look at the situation that I walked into. If you notice in the photograph, in the back end of the bar, there's the street, the windows, right? Okay, so you got windows here, and then you got a doorway right here, okay? All of this out here is ambient light. That's light on the street, okay? I don't have to worry about it. All I got to do is control it. Coming out of, there's a space here with some tables and whatnot, but coming out of that area is the bar, which comes along this way and then curves this way. So, and you've got your, you know, bar stools, etc. So there's a wash of light coming here. So what I did with that purposefully is I took my white balance and I went out of a daylight balance to an interior balance, if you will, an incandescent or tungsten white balance. What does that do to my light in the street? Turns it blue. Okay, so I've scouted, I've got my scene. Naturally, I'm going to work with the graphic element of the bar. So I'm going to take my dude and put him at the end of the bar so I can look back this way. So dude is here, okay, okay. He's got a hat on and stuff like that, okay. And then camera is here, roughly speaking, very close to him because we're working wide angle and we're working, you know, to show not only his character but also the character of the environment. As I said, I turned my main light, if you will, the available light, blue, via the mechanism in the camera that I can shift the white balance. So now that's an incandescent light. It's blue in the background. And interestingly enough, as I always say, when you think you're about to shoot a flash portrait, you know, bringing flash on location, still, at the end of the day, what's your most important light? The light that exists, the ambient light. You want to dovetail, most of the time, you want to dovetail on location the light that you bring to or with the light that exists. All right, so I have my scene, I have my rough exposure, I have my placement of my subject, placement of the camera. So now, only now, do I start to light. My light of choice for the main light here was a 24-inch Lastolite Ezybox hot shoe softbox. Say that fast, 10 times. Okay, it's, as I say, a 24-inch source.
underneath that source and underneath, you know, the sight line that I have for my subject, we used a tri-grip kind of in here, okay, kind of a triangular fill board, all right, and it is warm. We're using the gold side of the, it's actually called a tri-flip. We use the gold side of it, stuff it in close to the subject. The light pours out of my softbox heading this way, and it kicks or skips off of that warm board. Why? I'm looking to get my light to be relatively warm because the, you know, the little spotlights and this and that in a bar, generally speaking, our tungsten lights, they're warm. But hey, wait a minute, I'm shooting in tungsten white balance, so this light is going to be blue if I leave it alone, okay? But I didn't leave it alone. Obviously, I took this light and I gelled it with a CTO, convert to orange, color temperature orange. People refer to it as different, you know, in different ways. But it's essentially an amber gel that you put over your flash that turns this daylight flash into a tungsten or incandescent flash, if you will. So, but I didn't stop there. I put another gel on it, just a little bit more. I don't want to turn them into the Great Pumpkin, so I didn't go to 2 gels, but I did the quote-unquote normal gel, the 1 full CTO, and then a little bit of another gel, another warming gel, just to push him slightly warm. In addition, there's a gold board underneath that's kicking warm light as well, so he is warm but not over warm. And that's my main light combination, a Ezybox 24-inch softbox and the tri-flip, which looks like this, okay? You can hold it really easy. And this has got a white interior. I helped Lastolite design this, okay? The reason I did was I wasn't completely happy with the silver inside of their existing softbox, so I pushed them to put a white interior. So it's kind of a nice soft light source, and I use it a great deal on location. Okay, as they say, back to the drawing board. I got my main light set. So I've got the bar back in here, all the bottles and stuff, you know, all that great stuff that's back in here. That's the reason you go to a bar. I was lucky in that there was kind of an overhang here where they kept bottles and glasses, okay, kind of dropped down over the bar. So tucked into the ceiling up in here, I put 2 small flashes, 2 SB910s. Okay, these guys have 2 cuts of CTO or tungsten gel on them because I do want them to come back to normal and then go all the way to warmer tungsten, because that's the kind of light you would find kind of flooding the back area of a bar here. So these, nothing fancy here, 2 Justin clamps, right? Clip them onto the clamps, put them up, you know, clamp them onto the struts of the shelving up in here, okay? Bounce them into the ceiling, keep their dome diffusers on, bing, you're done, okay? You've got a nice warm glow on the bar. To augment the already existing blue pattern back in here, I took a bar stool, okay, in here, and I clamped a Justin clamp and another SB910 right back in here. I left this one alone, no gel at all. Reason being, it's flooding this way in the same direction as the ambient light, and that ambient light is blue, and if I don't gel that light, it will also go blue. So I zoomed it and pumped it along the bar. So now there's a blue highlight that extends along the bar and comes off the bottom of the shelving. You can see that in the photograph. So there's kind of this blue kind of aura going on back in here. But what was happening, because I was lighting him, lighting this, lighting here, what was happening is he was floating in a sea of blackness. The floor had gone really, really dark. Now the dining room is over here, and it's separated from the bar by a big window. So you've got the tables and chairs over here, right? So I took another light, simple light, raw light on a stand, and I put it in here. And I fired it this way. So now this light is going through these windows and splashing on this dark floor. It has also got 2 cuts or 2 full conversion gels, CTOs, on this light. Again, nothing fancy about it. It's just firing this way as a raw light, and there is a shadow pattern created down here on the floor. So now you have context. Now you have the floor, you have the bar, you have this area here where they keep all the bottles, you have backlight in here, and then you have your dude lit up front. Okay, so I got a bunch of stuff going on here with small flash. How do I speak to them all? Okay, you could do radio, You know, you could easily do a radio if that's your style of working, and I oftentimes revert to that, but I was pushing myself to see if I could speak to these lights in TTL, you know, wireless fashion. So what I did was I used kind of an unsung piece of equipment, and I use this a great deal, and I advocate it highly. This is the SC29 cord. You can use these cords to get your line of sight commander flash off of the hot shoe of the camera and move it around so it angles properly to pick up lights that are placed in sort of weird positions. So what I did was I took 3 of these cords, the TTL translates through 3 of them, and I came off the camera here, this way, and I came to a stand right here, and I put my commander flash right there. So now I'm linked here, and this flash is firing this way. It's picking up these 2 lights. It's picking up this light. It's picking up this light, and it's picking up this light. It spreads and sprays throughout the room, and all of the sensors, obviously, on these are maximized or turned towards this direction to optimize their line of sight reception. So now I've got groups, okay, my main is group A, my kickers in the background are way in the background are group C, the middle lights in here are group B. So I can talk to all groups, and I can alter their power right from here. Not bad, okay? That's a fun thing for me to do. It's kind of the default method of working for me. If I can get dependable line of sight, I'm fine with it. So, you know, first things first, scout the location, spike the camera, figure out the scene, determine the level of ambient light. That will drive all of your flash solutions. Then, only then, light it, but light it in pieces. Main light, middle, ground lights, background lights, kickers, all that sort of, those luxury items that you start to filter into your scenes just to pick up the nuance and detail of a location. So once again, this is Joe McNally for Adorama TV. And Adorama, you know, is in New York City, down on 18th Street. And you know, I talk about lighting and I teach some lighting, but I tell you, I've learned an awful lot about lighting from the Adorama Pro department. There's 2 guys in there, Daniel Norton and Ephraim Nussbaum. These guys are encyclopedias of not only equipment, but also lighting knowledge. And that's one of the reasons I go and work with them, okay? Because they can help me in situations like this. They are on the ball. They, you know, move very quickly when you need stuff delivered or anything like that. So that's one of the reasons I work with the store, you know, is I like working with folks who know more than I do, okay? Because I can learn from them. So there's just, you know, an array of stuff that we used on location, hopefully to a good purpose, a nice photograph. And once again, for Adorama TV, signing off, Joe McNally.
Adorama TV is brought to you by Adorama, your best source for the equipment and knowledge you need. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. Place your order by 7 p.m. and it ships the same day. Plus, the next time you're in New York City, be sure to visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. Check out the Adorama Rental Company for professional cameras, lighting, computers, and more. We'll help you make the best selection to match your needs while giving you the knowledge to achieve the best outcome from your rental. Adorama is your complete solution for equipment, printing, training, and more. Adorama, more than a camera store.